Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get a little serious here because something happened over the weekend at a reforce, and when it happened, it sparked a lot of conversation. I'm talking about storming the court.
Yeah. This came from the Wake Forest and Duke game. They were at Wake Forest. Duke is ranked, Wake Forest is not. Wake Forest comes out with the win. Their fans storm the court, and one of the players gets hurt for on the Duke side of things. We also saw a court storming incident this year with Caitlin Clark, and I think that that one brought a lot of attention as well because hers looked really serious, but it ended up not being. She collided with a fan. This now the Duke player he is injured. So with Caitlin, she wasn't injured, but it looked really scary, and I think that was something that kind of opened eyes to people that anything could have happened. Not only could Caitlin have been injured, I mean, there's no telling what a concussion can do to somebody. You never know the level of that. Like take Dale Earnhardt Jr. for example. Concussion really ended his career. He had to take 8 months off. Jeff Gordon raced for him, and then he came back for a few months, and that was the end of it. And I think he probably still deals with the effects of that concussion. So different people have different levels of concussions, and they come back from them differently. So now there's talks about, are they going to do away with court storming? I think you have to. And I know that sucks for the college fans because the student section, they're so dedicated to their school. The amount of money that they spend to be there at that school, they're excited, they support their teams. I get all of that. But let's say you get a 60-second buffer, right? You allow the players and the coaches and the staff to get off the court, and then you allow the court storming. Well, that's basically condoning the craziness, the chaos, right? And what if somebody else gets hurt? What if a little kid gets hurt? What if somebody who's elderly gets hurt? Like, I think you just have to do away with it. And every single sport, they're making modifications and changes, not only to make it safer for the players, but a safer fan experience as well. So it's bound to happen in the NCAA as well.
Kyle Filipowski is the Duke player. We talking about Duke's best player, by the way.
Mm.
It's it's interesting though, because I'm sitting here and I'm looking at how can you actually ban court storming that
You
you allowed it for so long?
I mean, it's going to take the way I feel about it, because I was talking to a coach earlier this week on the radio show that I host, and he's a high school coach. But his comment about NCAA doing that, he said that he doesn't feel like there's any effort in deterrent right now. So whatever you have to do, whether it's putting up barricades, I don't think that you put full up barricades, but you would have to put a bar up. I mean, and I know it's different with basketball because there's courtside seating, so it's not the same as football or hockey. But you figure it out because one, that's not going to happen in an NBA game. You storm the court in an NBA game, what's going to happen? People are getting arrested. You're getting banned from the stadium. The teams are being fined, and I think that's what you start doing. Now, is it going to happen all at once? No, but you're just going to have to implement everything that you possibly can to prevent it. And like the Coach Beckner, the guy that I was talking to this week, he said that he doesn't feel like there's any effort that's being made whatsoever at this point. So anything you do going forward is an improvement because you're not doing anything now.
Is there's there's coaches that don't like it, but there's former ADs and all this other stuff they don't mind paying the fine because it's a recruiting thing that they can use.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I think it'll be a deterrent now because you think about the kid from Duke that got hurt. Is that going to be something that comes in your mind when you're trying to get recruited? Oh, well, this kid got hurt. This kid got hurt from that incident, and the teams didn't do anything to help figure it out. That might affect your recruiting now. If you just try to sweep it under the rug and act like it's not a problem, it is a problem.
Oh, it's a problem. The NCAA going to do something. I just
Right.
don't know what that is the case.
I think you have to do multiple things. You have to start. I think you have to start by having more security. Now, I know that you can't do that every single time, but when you have rivalry games, for instance, Wake Forest and Duke, UNC. Those three teams, they hate each other, and you could probably go ahead and throw NC State in there as well. All those teams hate each other. You put up beefed up security at those. If these high school teams know when you're playing a rival and they have more security at those games, then why can't it not happen in the NCAA as well?
That's a good point. I like it. It's just it's a lot that
It is.
it is a lot because you talking about something. Hey, you know when we know about the NCAA, they'll say the correct things, but they don't mean the correct things.
Right. And they're not hurting for money. Now, if we're talking about a D2 school, they may not have or a D3 or a JUCO, they may not have the money for extra security. But these D1 schools are not hurting for cash like that. They can figure it out.
Yeah, do
The
something,
NCAA
please.
is not hurting for cash at all. So if they feel that serious about it, which they should feel that serious about it, maybe they should bankroll the extra security.
They should. They need to do something
Right. If
because
the university can't do it, then why not them?
let a star player legitly get hurt. You're lucky because Filipowski did play in Wednesday's game.
Right. Yeah. No, they're lucky that it wasn't a season ending injury. But if it
But
was, and what would have happened if it would have been Caitlin? And not to take anything away from the Duke player, but what would have happened if it had been Caitlin who'd been really hurt? And what if it would have been season ending? What if it would have been career ending? I mean, what would that have done for women's NCAA basketball at the time? Like, you have to take it that serious because she's the face of it.
so NCAA, y'all got a lot on y'all plate, and y'all just keep adding to it because y'all won't make moves. So,
They definitely have more on their plate than the Pac 12.